the needle for Trump is not moving. It's not going anywhere. I don't think no matter what he does or say, his supporters are gonna support him. No matter how many lies he tell or claims he make that are fact checked or debunked, his supporters are still gonna support him.
Turn to the side, let me see. Damn, I think we all could agree. You and your friends, I'll count it to a 3. And you looking even better here with me. We don't need no dinner, you the no boo. Tell me where you're from, girl, is your local? Got a couple dollars we could blow through. Take a couple trips, yeah, I can show you. Jump in my Impala, get the backseat going. We just let the top down, getting top down, hold it.
That right there was my new song. It's called Blow a Bag. You can stream it on all streaming platforms. Just search Holliewood, Blow a Bag, add it to your playlist, share it with your friends if you like what you heard. I appreciate you for listening. Let's get ready to get into what's hot in these blogs. First things first, let's talk about this debate, the great debate that happened just a few days ago. Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. So many people watched. I was one of them in my living room. It was like watching a playoff game or something. It was super exciting to see. You never really know what to expect. Going into it, the pressure was on for Kamala, it feels. The bar was set so high for her, yet so low for Donald. So it was just one of those things where people was just like, praying and stuff like, I hope she, knocks it out the park. And Kamala did just that. Kamala not only knocked it out the park, she was prepared. And that's one of the main things you noticed, what I gathered, what I was looking at on that screen, it was the prepared versus the unprepared, the qualified versus the unqualified. And from the jump, like I was watching my TV and just like so hype. At one point, I think I was swinging at the TV like, yeah, let's go. Let's big. Like she was just doing what she needed to do and fact checking him on a lot of things, calling him out, and at the same time presenting her case on what she plans to do as president. I've been seeing some people saying she, didn't answer certain questions and it was unclear. But in my opinion, what I saw her lay out ideas, a plan of what the future would look like under her presidency, something that boy did not do. Your man at one point said he got concepts of a plan, concepts that if you look back to like 2016, he had concepts all the way back then. He went through a whole presidency and still you would think he would have it mapped out and ready to go in 2024. You went through a whole term and you got the audacity to come on this stage running for re-election with concepts of a plan. Like, make it make sense. But I'm not going to get too much into the debate. Actually, you could check out my producer, Stacy, put up a breakdown of the debate. You could check that out on YouTube as well, where she got into exactly the details of it and her take on it. So you could check that out. But what I want to get into is one of the biggest takeaways from this debate. That is the needle. I wasn't expecting it to move regardless, but it needs to be pointed out that the needle for Trump is not moving. It's not going anywhere. I don't think no matter what he does or say, his supporters are gonna support him. No matter how many lies he tell or claims he make that are fact checked or debunked, his supporters are still gonna support him. The needle is not moving for that boy. So what has to happen, because debates, no matter how much I feel Kamala won this debate, it doesn't mean she's going to win the election off of this debate alone. It's really going to take people like you and me, the people who believe in Kamala and her vision, to really not only make sure we get out and vote, but make sure the people around us get out and vote as well. If you want to, you can like call around to people, to strangers. You can do that as well, because that's a part of her campaign. If you want to be a part of it, they have that option out there for you to, like, you know, call people and stuff. You could do that if you want to. But I would say you could even start with your circle, your general circle, your friends, close friends, and even distant friends, people who you may have grown up with. Y'all may not talk every day, but y'all still super cool. When y'all link up, it's like y'all never left, right? Yeah, those people you can reach out to, your childhood friends, because there's a lot of people who probably don't understand the severity of this election, don't really grasp what's at stake, who may be planning to sit it out, and not because they don't like either candidate, but just because it's not important to them. They don't care like that. I think it's up to us to reach out to those people and make sure that they are registered to vote, and make sure that they are getting out to vote, because this election is too close based on these polls, and it shouldn't be. Kamala has a great chance at winning, but it's going to require us to really get people out to vote. Like I said, Trump supporters are his supporters. They're not going nowhere. As we've seen after the debate, that needle is not moving. But we have the power to reach out to people who may be staying home and getting them out. That's what we need to do. Reach out to your friends, reach out to the people who you are close with, and make sure you register. Go to vote.org, where you can check your registration, make sure it's active, and you can also register if you aren't registered already. And depending on your city, it'll show you the deadlines for you to register. So be sure to check that out right now. That way you know whether you got like a couple weeks or whatever, but try to get it done ASAP. But yes, that's how we're gonna be able to win this election. We got to get our circle out to the poll. Me personally, I know several people who told me they had no intentions on voting. They weren't even registered, which was shocking to me. So guarantee you're going to come across some people who may not be thinking about it, may not care one way or other. We got to get those people out. We have to. It's too much at stake when it comes to this election. This is not just your regular, typical Democrats versus Republicans and type of election. It's not. This election will change the trajectory of America. If 45 is reelected, America as we know it will be no more. And that's a fact. I'm not even being like dramatic. That's an absolute fact. Because another thing, no matter how much Trump tries to distance himself from things like Project 2025, he shows us time and time again exactly who he is. And I don't know how many times he got to show us, well, not us, because I already see it. I don't know how many times he has to show y'all who he is before y'all start to believe it. From him associating himself with certain people, Timothy Hale, Quizzolini, however you say his name, Nick Fuentes, Laura Loomer, who he's been parading around with most recently. And these are like far out there, like extremists, white supremacists who are publicly spewing like misinformation and conspiracy theories, etc. Laura Loomer even has some things to say about 9/11. And then you bring her to a 9/11 memorial. Talk about a slap in the face. Actions speak louder than words. Your mans could say he's not associated with XYZ, but look at his actions. And outside of them, they are like out there. They the ones with podcasts and who are in public spaces spewing this stuff. You got even like closeted people as well, like the former White House advisor, Stephen Miller, his private emails wasn't covered, where he was sending out white supremacist websites and other different like literature, etc., to people. And not to mention your everyday civilian racists and extremists and white supremacists. Like the person who ran over protesters at the Unite the Right rally, Trump said it was very fine people on both sides, or even Kyle Rittenhouse, who Trump defended, who drove over state lines with a firearm, unalived 2 people at a Black Lives Matter protest in 2020. These are people that Trump has defended and spoke out in support of. The Proud Boys even. Y'all remember stand by, stand back, stand by, something like that he said to them. It's like actions speak louder than anything he's saying. So many of his advisors are part of Project 2025, which he's trying to distance himself from. His own vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance, wrote the foreword for Project 2025. So you mean to tell me I'm choosing someone to be my VP running mate? They wrote the foreword for Project 2025, and I know nothing about it? If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you as well. So it's like, how many times do your boy have to show you who he is before y'all believe it? I be seeing too many comments in the comment section like, oh, he already said he not a part of that. He already did this and that. And it's like, how can you believe anything that's coming out the mouth of a pathological liar? It's a known fact that he lies. When you think about the debate alone, they have to have actual fact checkers who said he lied over 33 times during the debate. And y'all able to, like, with good faith and conscience, believe when he says, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. Like, you're not the most trustworthy, buddy. Like, but back to the needle and why that needle's not moving, because his supporters, I don't know if they're just like naive to whatever is going on. They just want to be blind to the situation, or they just don't care. I'm not sure what it is, but they are still. They're going to stick beside him, apparently. Oh, another thing too, voting early definitely is super important. I would propose that if you can, check if your city allows it and when it begins, and actually go to the polls to do it. There's a lot of cities we can actually go to the polls to vote early. I'm planning to do that myself here in California. You don't have to only do mail-in ballots. I want you to actually go into the station and vote if you can. That's the biggest takeaway from that debate. Debates don't win elections. Kamala Harris looked great out there, and it proved to the people who already believed in her what we already knew. And it may have swayed some people who may have been on the fence. I don't know how you could still be on the fence. So yeah, that's my thing on that. Let's move on. So what else is hot in these blogs? Dawn Richard, because that's how she says her name. So that's how I'm going to say her name. If you're unfamiliar, she is the former member of Danity Kane, and she also worked with Diddy for several years. She branched out after Danity Kane disbanded. She was a part of Dirty Money with Diddy and Kalima, I believe is the other girl's name. And, they had hits, traveled the world, all that good stuff. Dawn Richard has filed a lawsuit against Diddy. And to me, it's the closest thing to the Cassie lawsuit with, how we all reacted when we read those details in the Cassie lawsuit, all of the allegations, and it's just as shocking. A lot of the allegations that's in this lawsuit. When I first seen this, I was like, oh, Dawn was like, I need my cut too. Like all these other people winning lawsuits, it's time for me to tell my story and get my piece of the pie. It takes strength, for people to come forward. So many people could wonder like what took so long or how you can still work with someone all these years, blah, blah, blah. But everyone has their own reasons, and she felt the time was now. So here we are. lawsuit was filed. Some of the things in the lawsuit she revealed, because a lot of people were saying she worked on that Love album that just came out, Diddy's last album, but it turns out she didn't even work on that album. The song that's on that album, turns out it's an old song that's recycled, and they were going back and forth regarding percentages and things of that nature regarding that song. She's not even being like compensated properly, according to her, for that song. So she didn't really work with him on that Love album. There's other allegations of him, of like abuse, of mental abuse, of him like touching her and saying he gonna get her like a breast job. There's just a lot of allegations in this lawsuit, and I think a few months, maybe a year or two ago, if this were to come out, I would probably be a little more like skeptical, like, is it true? Is it not? But I don't know. Given the recent developments, given the video that came out with Diddy and Cassie, with him chasing her down that hallway and kicking her and dragging her, all this, I'm inclined to believe Don. I'm just given what's presented in front of me, the type of person that it has been revealed that Diddy is, I can't put it past him, these allegations. So I'm inclined to believe her. Dawn mentioned in her lawsuit a situation where she alleges that Kalima wanted to break up with her. I don't know if he was her husband or her boyfriend at the time, and she wanted Dawn's help because her and the dude had like a big blowout. She wanted Dawn's help to leave the situation. Dawn ended up helping her. However, she helped her. The dude and Kalima ended up getting back together, and he found out that Dawn helped Kalima. This is all in the lawsuit. Dawn is alleging that once they found out, she was scared for her safety. She said she would lock herself in the room when they would record, when they would be over at his crib to record, because she was afraid of retaliation. She would put like stuff against the door and stuff like that. And you just put yourself in that position. That's like a crazy lifestyle. Like, we see these celebrities and we see them living the life and the music videos and the performances and the tours. And if what Dawn is alleging in this lawsuit is true, is like, that is a tragic way to be living while you're pursuing your dreams and following your dreams. Like, that's just like crazy. Dirty money. Kalina though, she just released a statement, a lengthy statement, and she is basically, I guess, wanting to remain out of it, but also, and in essence, denying what Dawn is alleging in her suit. I'm gonna read a little bit of what Kalina says. She posted in her Instagram story. She said, "I acknowledge the recent lawsuit filed by Dawn Richard, in which my name has been mentioned 33 times. While I fully respect Dawn's right to recount her experiences, I want to emphasize that her account reflects her personal perspective and should not be interpreted as a universal truth applicable to everyone involved." She said, "It's important to understand that while I was present in some of the same professional settings mentioned, many of the allegations and incidents described in this suit are not representative of my experiences, and some do not align with my own truth." I'm not gonna like read the rest, but it's more she read. But just reading just those two paragraphs alone, to me, it reads as, I guess she wants to like maintain her loyalty at this moment. That's what it reads like to me. It reads like, I just either she just want to stay out of it, or she wants to maintain her loyalty, whatever that means. Some people is saying that she might have been like paid off and stuff like that. I'm not saying that, but it's something about the way it's written. It's like, I don't know. And of course, Diddy is denying these allegations. His lawyer is saying that Dawn is just in it for a payday, and it's a shame she's throwing away their 20-year friendship, that type of thing. But again, we've heard it all before. Diddy and his lawyers denied Cassie's allegations initially, and then he settled the lawsuit. And then the video surfaced of him, you know. So it's like, it don't really at this point hold much weight and merit to hear that y'all saying is not true. It's like, to the public, y'all gonna have to prove that. And I guess Dawn will have her day in court, and Diddy and his lawyers will have to prove that it's not true. I'm sure Dawn has receipts, and given what has developed over the past few months, I can't just take Diddy's word for it that is not true, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll see what happens. What comes about of this lawsuit is just the tip of the iceberg, I'm sure, in terms of Dawn and Diddy. So we'll see. Someone said, put Diddy away already. He needs to go to jail. Yikes. What a life though, right? What a life. Someone said he should have been in jail for the Cassie video. All I can say is I'm with you, Dawn. Like, Dawn just hey, like I said, it takes strength to come forward with things like this. So we'll see how this plays out. And yeah, we're gonna move on. I want to talk about this developing story that was just revealed at the time I'm recording this, that there were shots fired near Trump's golf course. And initial reports were saying that someone that shot, it just said shots were fired and Trump was safe. He was rushed to safety or whatever. But now the latest, that as of right now that I'm recording this, is that the shots that were fired was possibly from Secret Service. There was a man who reports are saying had a firearm on or near the golf course, and Secret Service, according to initial reports, opened fire on this person. They also arrested this person and taken him into custody. And like any story, when it first happened, there's always going to be new developments. So things may change, but that's the initial reports that's happening right now. And all I can say is Secret Service ain't playing no games. They learned from PA. So even if this person wasn't actually trying to harm Trump in any way, they seen him, they seen a firearm, and they took action. They like, nah, not on my watch, not again. Because like I mentioned with PA, that Secret Service failed. So this one, I guess, did what they were supposed to do, did their job. But we'll see what developments come out of this. What's the word on that? But yeah, as of right now, the Secret Service are the shots that were fired. The only shots that were fired in this case. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Lil Wayne has responded to the news that Kendrick Lamar is headlining the Super Bowl this year. The internet was all up in arms. It was a bunch of people feeling like it should have been Wayne because it's in New Orleans and all of this. Even Nicki Minaj spoke out. It was a whole big thing. All this discourse about Wayne in the Super Bowl. And as I mentioned last week, that's just not how Super Bowl halftime performers are chosen. It's not chosen just because the artist is from that city. But Lil Wayne has broken his silence regarding it. I'm gonna read y'all a little bit of what he said. So Wayne said that news of it broke him. He said, I must say thank you. He said, I have to thank every voice, every opinion, all the care, the love, and the support out there. Your words turned into arms that held me up when I felt like falling back. He said that hurt. It hurt a lot. He said, I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown, for putting myself in a position where I thought this was guaranteed. I thought there was nothing better than that spot, that stage, and that platform in my city. My thing is, I mean, I get it that you And that could be why him and Hov was kicking it. Maybe he was like, you know, shooting his shot. Like, yo, I know y'all about to choose the person. Cheers. Let's take a shot to put me on that short list. Who knows? But I feel it's like the way the people was talking, and I get it. You got loyalty to Wayne, be it you're a fan, be it you're one of his artists, he signed you, whatever, you got loyalty to him and you should be feeling some type of way. But it came across as a sense of entitlement to me. I feel like there's opportunity there, or there were, I don't know if there still is, but I felt like there's opportunity there to acknowledge Kendrick. Kendrick, who is publicly showing his support for Wayne, who's a fan of Wayne. When Lil Wayne was talking about retiring some time ago, Kendrick was on social media, like rapping his songs and telling him how much he meant to the culture and how he shouldn't retire, that sort of thing. I feel like the opportunity was there, maybe it's still there, where Wayne could be a part of the show still, even though he's not the headliner. He could still come out on stage during the show. And that would be like an epic break the internet moment. But I also don't really care at the same time, because there was some videos that resurfaced recently of an interview that Wayne did where the reporter was asking him about the Black Lives Matter movement and his feelings on it. And his responses to that, I wasn't feeling. It was as if Wayne was on some I'm good. Like, I don't know about this Black Lives Matter movement because my fans, a lot of my fans are white, and I'm rich, I'm Black, and that shows that my life matter. Like, F all of that. That's how basically in a nutshell what he was saying. And it was disappointing. It was disappointing because I appreciate the Black Lives Matter movement. Despite any controversy or any things that we may have heard about who founded it, funds that may have been misused, all of that type of stuff that y'all probably gonna hit me with in the comment section. Despite all of that, the movement itself, the meaning behind it, I'm for, because I'm Black and my life matter. And it wouldn't be a need for a Black Lives Matter movement if it was not shown time and time again that our lives don't matter. It's like we're disposable, especially when it comes to police and police brutality and countless other things in this country. So to basically SHIT on the movement because you good and you rich and your fans is white and they support you, I was disappointed. So with seeing that and learning that, it's like, why should I care that you wasn't chosen for the Super Bowl? You don't care about a movement that's for me. So I don't care. You're good. You're rich, right? Like, yeah, it would have been a moment because it's in your city and it's a Super Bowl, but life goes on. There's going to be another Super Bowl in 2026 and 2027 in a different city in 2028. There's going to be more, and there's going to be other performers. And it's not going to be the last time it's in New Orleans, I'm sure of it, because it's not the first time that it was in New Orleans. I think it also shows the climate that we're in, too. And the social media era that we're in, where everything is just like heightened. And it is this general sense of entitlement from a lot of people, fans of artists, the artists themselves. Because when you think about the last time it was in New Orleans, and that was when Beyonce headlined, the climate was different. We still had social media, but it wasn't the way it is today. And it wasn't, oh, it's in New Orleans, it should be Lil Wayne. Like, it wasn't that at all. You ain't hear nothing about that at all. I don't know if last year's with it being in LA and I'm having Snoop and Dre and Kendrick, then if that spark people to feel like, oh, it's in NOLA, it should be Wayne. Like, I don't know what caused it, but it's definitely the climate we're in today that got people feeling like something's theirs before it's even said that it is. Yeah, that's that. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a spectacle. Like I said last week, it's going to be very black on that field. It's Black History Month. It's Kendrick Lamar. And if you know, you know. And it's going to be a sight to see. So that's that. I want to mention something real quick before we wrap this thing on up and get up out of here. Regarding the debate and something else that was mentioned at the debate, and it just brings into mind like the lengths that side would go to win, I guess, or to get support, I guess. But the claims that was made by 45 that the people in Springfield were eating dogs and eating cats and eating the pets. Those claims, for one, they were dispelled by the police in Springfield, the authorities in Springfield. So there's no claims of that. And then I see people who are referring to, you'll see some people like, oh, it's online, it's all over YouTube, there's videos, so y'all could choose not to believe it, blah, blah, blah. And I looked into it because that's the type of person I am. I want to see for myself what everybody's talking about. And I like to fact check and go off of actual facts and not just what I see online. And what I seen was a police body cam video of a woman who it's clear she was having like a mental episode. And apparently there was a cat that she beheaded during this situation that was going on there. And there was someone in the background of the police body cam footage that was saying that they witnessed her like eating the cat or whatever. Like, I don't know if that's true or not. And even if it was, it's an isolated incident of a woman who was having a mental episode who beheaded a cat and did whatever else to this cat, which is unfortunate. I don't know how it goes from an isolated incident of a person who's actually an American citizen, who's from Canton, how that turns into the Haitians in Ohio are eating y'all pets and y'all dogs, and it's this epidemic of this when there's no evidence of that. We're talking about an isolated incident. So for everybody who's saying it's all over YouTube, really? So I don't know what this is about. And JD Vance was even most recently on an interview, was caught admitting to like making up stories or something of that nature, he said. And it just made me think the lengths that they would go to, like I said, gain support. Someone said it's about sparking fear, feeding the prejudices of their base. That part, for sure. And I went back to that and brought that up because when you think of this new shooting that happened, I can't fully put it past that maybe they set it up. Like, because I can't put nothing past them, because we're dealing with a pathological liar and we're dealing with people who would do and say anything despite facts just to prove a point, just to win. I don't know. It's unfortunate. Like, how did we get here? How did we get here? But that's another reason this election is not like no other election. But yeah, I'll end on that. We're gonna get ready to wrap this thing on up. Thank you for watching. If you rock with your boy, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, it's called Holliewood and Friends, which means I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the topics I just discussed. I appreciate you. New episodes every Monday night. Until next time, deuces.